Hello and welcome, RCSchim in the hangar where we test action cameras. This time I'm lucky and I'm one of the first to get a new camera from Caddx, so thanks Caddx for supplying this test sample. Small selection of cameras that I tested over the years, and this is the new one. Well, I've listened to the FPV community and came out with a Gopro Session type camera. 66 grams, RCSchim 5 is 55, Foxia Box 2 80 grams, and the little DJI Action 2 with the screen is 55 grams. The mount is 11 grams, with the mount we're at 77 grams. 3.9 in perfect square, 3.8. If you break the standard case is one of the Foxia cases, but if it's in the Foxia case it has a bit of play, so you would need some tape around it. You get an ND16 ND8 screw-on filter. This is a design, a really strong magnetic. It's this little USB-C voltage regulator. Anything up from 5 volt to 6S, and you could even have a bit of light cam control. Single press the power button to turn it on. The single press you change the resolutions, and it also changes the color of the LED, which is really nice. Long pressing the mode button will enter the Wi-Fi mode. We want to connect to the Wi-Fi first and then open up the app. So we can enter the cam right away, enter the settings, find a bunch of resolutions where I decided 2.7K 60 4:3, and the average metering is better than spot metering. Here you get a bunch of different video and photo modes additionally. Didn't think about the other settings. If you short press the power button, you start recording, it will give you 3 beeps, and the speed of the blinky light during recording indicates the battery level. That's clever. On the side we have this little plastic cover which covers the storage card and then USB-C. Okay, up on the Eichberg, one of my favorite spots to test cameras. Let's start with the RunCam ThumbPro. In 2.7K 60 without an ND filter, but with Gyroflow already applied. And here you see on some harder movements, you get this weird borderline syndrome, because I couldn't zoom in much more, because the ThumbPro, as I said in my review, has not wide enough field of view. It's an okay quality. I think it is more prone to the jello, as you see here, because it's a lightweight camera, very lightweight, and it's affected easier by jello. Now this is the Walnut in 4K 60, 16:9, and also Gyroflow applied, which worked really nice. There's already a walnut lens profile in Gyroflow, and I used the stock settings in Gyroflow 1.2. I had the metering mode to center, which looks a bit weird, and in some scenes it tends to overexpose. So maybe the average metering mode is better for the overall performance. I didn't yet test the wide dynamic range functions, but normally they don't do too much on those budget cams, to be honest. So it will not be able to compete against a GoPro in terms of dynamic range. That's the major downside, if you will, when using such a budget camera. But with all that being said, it's pretty impressive what kind of quality this camera can give us. Here once again, challenging shot against the sun, and it takes some time for the exposure algorithm to cope with this. But once you fly with the sun in the back, which is always better looking, you get decent lighting. On this overview shot, the quality looks pretty impressive, but once again, when looking against the sun with the clouds, but it does the compensation for light changes in slower steps and in not visible steps, which is good. Now we have 2.7K 60 in 4:3, and I left it in 4:3 here in this 4K video. I left it intentionally on 4:3, so you see that you get a wider field of view, also vertically. But normally I would zoom in to fill a 16:9 frame, and I could just move up and down a bit. So that's why I prefer to use 4:3 whenever I can. It gives you more possibilities in the post-processing. And lastly, here we have the cinematic mode. It's 4K 30 frames with ND16 filter, and I fixed the ISO to 100 and the shutter time to 60. 60 shutter time and the 30 frames video should look quite nice in terms of motion blur. I had some issues with Gyroflow in this video, in this particular footage. The gyro data was off 1.2 seconds. And still I had a few of these scenes here don't look perfect, but I didn't tweak a lot, so it looks decent enough in my book. And I don't use any color grading on all of these scenes to not alter the footage too much, so you see what comes out of the camera. So you can do a lot of corrections in post, of course, to make it look better. And it was very windy, as you see here. It was really windy, and it is a sub 250 copter. And lastly, this is a comparison to the DJI Action 2 in 4K 25 by error. Sorry, it's a bit stuttery because of this. Here with ND16 filter, ISO set to 100, shutter to 60s, even if it's a error here. But you see a lot of motion blur here, but it's also a bit too dark because the sun went away and the rain came in. And this is the second mode where I had 4K 48 frames without ND filter. You even see the rain clouds in the background and a nice train going to the tunnels here. And this is all, by the way, this is their rocksteady and not Gyroflow. So this is all stabilized inside the camera, and for this it looks really, really nice. But one general complaint about the DJI Action 2 is that the dynamic range isn't the best. So you get underexposed or overexposed scenes. You've seen it here. One thing to consider on such a small copter as the Babyhawk 2 here, the Action 2's form factor is better in terms of battery placement. In comparison, the deeper body of the Walnut is a bit of a mounting issue, but also many of the freestyle pilots would use this on a 5-inch copter, and there it's no problem. So after some flights with the Walnut, I tested it with a fan, so the temperature is not a problem, and I got to 28 minutes and 18 seconds. And then I did a second pass with a fully charged battery without fan, and I also got 28 minutes and 45 seconds. This camera doesn't care too much about shutting down because of heat, and for the longevity of the camera, I don't know if this is a problem. I've also tested it on my 5-inch drone, tested the wide dynamic range, so you see wide dynamic range in action here. And I also tested the in-body stabilization set to super. If you do this, you get okayish stabilization on smooth flights, exploration flights, cruising style. But if you do like freestyle flips and rolls, it will spoil your moves, it doesn't look good. So, and you don't have the option to gyroflow it later because you get no gyro data and you get the jerky movement. So if you fly just occasionally, then you can use it and don't have to do gyroflow in post. But if you're serious about cool looking moves, go with the gyroflow, it looks way better. First issue I had with the ND filters, this orange sealing ring is kind of loose and fell off. And yesterday when using the internal stabilization, the camera would just freeze up. Press the power button for 10 seconds to reset the camera to get it to start again. If you want to use the magnetic USB-C adapter for transferring files, turn on the camera first, 5 or 10 seconds, and then plug it in. So the computer will recognize it as a mass storage, or else you just use the normal USB-C for transferring. The speed is a good USB 2 speed. If you need to get it down faster, just get the card out. If you want to judge the quality directly because YouTube spoils it, you can download an untouched flight and you can even use the Gyroflow data. I give it in the same directory. And you can also judge the distortion. In none of the flights I tested the lens distortion correction LDC in camera because you can do it in post. So, oh, and I found one little Easter egg. If you connect with your phone to this, I will show you this. Yeah, it's in German, sorry. I can go manage router and then it will connect to the page of the camera. Okay, so that was the little Easter egg with the umbrella page directly on the router. Please support this channel by subscribing, sharing my videos, spread the word that this guy here does honest reviews and is not biased and does not do affiliate marketing. That's actually not 100% true. I have one affiliate and that's Epidemic Sound. So if you need good audio like I used in this video, please consider getting an account there. It's not too expensive and you would indirectly support my channel. I really like their service. I use their music since a lot of years now and it's a great source of nice songs and the sound can really improve your video a lot. So thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.